Journaling is a very common habit in the self-improvement space, and I first started journaling, doing this sort of habitual thing on a day-to-day basis about a year and a month ago now. But I didn't start off journaling doing like a generic sort of gratitude, deep journaling kind of style of journaling. I ended up doing dream journaling. I wanted to document my dreams so that I could look back at them years, decades maybe, even centuries potentially later, and just sort of reminisce with nostalgia or whatever at kind of what exactly happened inside of my consciousness in that sort of time period. It's interesting though, over the year and the month, I have transformed what my journal looks like. Now I do a lot of more deep journaling, a lot more gratitude journaling, and a few little things that sort of happened in my day-to-day life and what I really thought of them, how I analysed them, etc. But I kind of forgot about dream journaling. I ended up never really doing it past the point of like December 2023. I never really documented nor analysed my dreams, and a lot of the dreams from that period have completely been forgotten into the abyss of the mind, and they're not documented on any piece of paper, so I can't actually find them and look back at them, etc. But I wanted to kind of bring that back. I wanted to bring that back, and a few of my dreams inside of the book that I've got in front of me, which I also use for my scripting, I ended up documenting a few of the things that happened in my dreams inside of this book. And this morning, I had a very interesting dream, which I wanted to talk about in this video, because it kind of revolves around the whole sort of enlightenment and consciousness kind of spiritual topic that's kind of arising as a popular topic in the self-improvement space. Because inside of this particularly odd dream, there were these weird type of bird things that simply ate you. I know dreams are just incredibly weird and hard to analyse, but I remember there were these kind of birds in a movie that I watched as a child. Can't remember what it was called, but it was like they were piranha birds or something like that. And if they sort of swarmed you, they just ended up eating all of your flesh and you were just left as a skeleton. That might have been a completely false thing, but when I sort of had this thought inside of my dream, when I saw these birds, I like recognised that was where they were from in a way. And I was like, I don't want to end up becoming skin and bone, or not even skin, just literally just bone. And so I ran away. I ran through this place that I was in. I don't really know where it was. I ran. But what was very, very interesting that is kind of surrounding the whole consciousness topic of enlightenment kind of thing is that I was able to go through the smallest of spaces. I was able to go through, specifically if I can like recall the sort of thoughts inside of my head of what this sort of looked like for me when I was dreaming and sleeping, etc., is there was this small like box-shaped hole that was around exactly maybe this big, and I literally just dived into that hole, and then I was in a box that was maybe around that big, and I was like, I'm kind of stuck here now, but I don't want those little piranha bird thingies to come through that tiny hole because they could probably fit and end up literally chewing my legs off. And so there was a hole that was around this big, even smaller, and because I didn't really realise I was dreaming at the time, I wasn't lucid dreaming, I didn't know that I was dreaming, so I still felt that fear, that emotion, that adrenaline to actually run away from these birds for my life. Even though it was like a really weird circumstance, it was odd. I don't really know how I didn't notice that it was a dream, but that's just how our bodies kind of work when we're sort of dreaming. It's a weird sort of scientific process, but I was stuck in this box, and these birds were like coming after me through this house thing or whatever, and I had to fit through a tiny little thing. And while, despite the fact that I thought that I was me, physical, present, bodily, flesh and bone and muscle and brain, I decided to just take the jump, go through this tiny little box, and I fitted through. I went through the tiny little box, and I kind of assumed nothing of it inside of the dream. Other things happened, I woke up, but I thought about this moment in the morning while I was kind of writing about it, and I just sort of had a bit of an enlightenment, which I thought I'd share with you. I wasn't actually me inside of the dream. I couldn't have been physical, present, flesh, mass and bone, because obviously that's not possible when you're a thought inside of a head, or however dreams actually kind of work. I was like my soul and my conscious, it's not a physical thing. Of course my conscious could fit through such a small hole because it doesn't actually exist. It's nothing, but it's like it's present. It controls our physical flesh and mass, and so we think that our conscious is our physical flesh and mass. you're not actually sort of existing in your dream. It's just your conscious. And so you're essentially anything. You can take on any shape or form that you so choose if you're lucid dreaming, because it is your conscious. It's not your physical bones and your muscles. And I could fit through the tiny little hole because it wasn't actually me. It was just a part of my brain that wasn't actually physical. It was just like a soul. It was a thought. The thought and the conscious obviously could fit through the tiny little gap, but a physical person couldn't. I thought I was a physical present being inside of the dream, despite the fact that that would be near on impossible because of the whole weird circumstances that were happening. It was just an odd enlightenment which I thought I'd share with you because I just found it incredibly interesting. Maybe I'll use this YouTube channel as like a dream journal in a way to just document the kind of things that happen inside of my dream, because man, that was a weird dream that I found very, very interesting. I actually went to bed quite early that night. I ended up getting like 10 hours of sleep compared to my normal 8 hours of sleep because I was just feeling quite tired by the end of the day. And maybe that was the cause. Whatever it was a trippy dream. I'm still kind of analysing everything that happened, what caused my conscious to think those things, the birds, the tree houses, all the stuff that I saw in my dreams. It's an interesting thing to analyse what actually happened and why things happened and who was there, etc. inside of the dream. It's quite a fun thing to do, and maybe I recommend it to you because me having this dream was quite a weird enlightenment, which I thought I'd share with you just for the fun, I suppose. But yeah, with that, I highly recommend subscribing because I love this community of young tribal people who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have, and good luck.